Okay. Daily game design here at BGG Con. I'm currently in my hotel room. It's 7:30 in the morning, and I wanted to do just a quick recap of yesterday. It's my first ever time coming to a convention on the mainland. So, of course, we have a few conventions on Oahu. The two that were my first ever experience with a tabletop type convention, maybe like adjacent tabletop adjacent convention. We're volunteering for Comic-Con and for Kawaii Con with Van and Megan. Now, of course, they've broken off and started Tabletop Oahu convention, and I attended that uh, November 1st. And that was positive. I got in some playtesting, met some interesting people, really nice designers. And I think, they're kind of early stages and I mean, Oahu's not a big place, so we had, I think, I don't know if there were 500 people over the weekend or 400, not really sure yet, but um, here there are about 3,000, which I guess is still not a massive convention, but it's big. There are 3 floors here in the Hyatt. Here, I'll go through a couple videos. I did just post a reel on my Instagram. But anyway, this guy Ryan is who made it possible for me to come out here, and there he is bringing bringing his uh, his game totes, and we're cruising over into the hotel, and it's my first time in a long time, I guess, in Dallas area. So I actually spent some number of months. I don't remember how long we lived in the Dallas Fort Worth area when I was very young. I think it was maybe 6 or 8 months, something like that. I have no idea, but it was Crum, Texas, near Denton, and I think it was my first T-ball league I joined. And we had yellow hats with a K on them for Crum because it's Crum with a K. So, uh, yeah, this is like one of the main features of the Skyline is this hotel, and they have the con has like 3 floors, basically 3 floors. So this was going in for registration, and very cool. So they've been going for, I don't know, over 20 years or something, and so they have a really good relationship with a bunch of different publishers. So they were just at Essen. I don't really know exactly what BGG is doing at Essen, other than maybe um, I guess I don't really know what their business model is, honestly. And by the way, I'm just on my laptop, so I'm gonna be flipping back and forth a little bit between like checking on my like stream health like this. So they were just at Essen, and one of the leaders, she ran a kind of meet and greet thing in the evening of the first day. She said they brought back 40 40 pallets of games that were like given to them, donated. Looks like Rio Grande was the one of the main donors for the con. But anyway, so go into registration, and they give you this was like the first day registration area. They give you your badge. So here I've got my little spooktacular BGG Con 2025 badge, and I've started. I don't know why this is a thing, but all these little extra tags, first time attendee, heck yeah. Roll in there, and then they give you 3 playing cards, and those playing cards um, are associated with certain games. So turn in a one playing card, and they check their little list. If for whatever reason the suit or the number or something like that got me Alan's Adventureland. And so what I was saying is they have this relationship with publishers where there are like door prizes. So just for showing up, everybody gets at least it looks like 4 games, 7 games, something like that. Anyway, here's the like an RPG that I know nothing about called Bunkers and Badasses. So fair enough. I think it's like a D&D system game, but I don't. Anyway, it's super heavy. Don't know anything about it. I tried to look it up last night. It does look like just maybe some adventures for kind of a D&D world. Not really sure. A Freedman and Freeze Full Throttle. It's a moped racing game and betting game. I don't see what year this came out. 2021. Fair enough. And then there are all of these Bonanza games, but I mean Bonanza, it's the Bean game, so I don't really know how all this works, but then they handed me those. There are um there are some expansions to games I don't own, so I didn't take them. But there's a free Roll for the Galaxy expansion. Okay, so this is one of the open gaming spaces. I think I mentioned there are about 3,000 people here, or there will be throughout the weekend. I mean, it's yesterday was the first day, Wednesday, and so I don't know what happens if over the weekend things get massive. But this is just one of the main rooms where they'll just set up a game, and this is I actually do want to spend some time in here, um, just meeting some people, trying something new. But I don't really have a plan to play many games. But it sounds like the players wanted and teachers wanted signs work in here. Oh yeah, these are the games. Here's the library. It's I think one of the organizers said they have 8 to 9,000 games. It's between 7 and 9,000 for sure. And they have a bunch of hot games. So they came from Essen partly to bring in games that were released at Essen. So I don't know much about Essen. I've definitely, of course, never been to Essen, but it's, I guess, the biggest, or definitely the biggest convention in Europe, but maybe the most important, maybe the biggest. It's in Essen, Germany. Maybe it's the biggest and most important convention in general. Okay. So I didn't get video of the full space here, but there is a small room with maybe 12 tables or something like that. And I spent most of the day in there yesterday meeting other designers. This is their proto alley. Um, and I anticipate spending most of my time in general here. Let me see how things are going. I didn't think the video was that long, so we'll see. Well, anyway, I got a play test of Sugar Shack in, and already I learned a few things. So I wrote down some notes yesterday. I think I shared them. Yeah, so more single worker options. Now, this is something I think it's a kind of known issue that at the start of the game there aren't really that many options. And so one of the tweaks, like there are four, anyway, I should say too that I messed up. Like I forgot to reveal one of the four extra buildings that comes out, and so the game was slow, like kind of slow moving or slow developing, in the sense that the mayor wasn't coming out until partway through the second main round, mega round, the second week. And so I don't know how I blanked on it's I do it pretty much every time. I think the reason is because I really like the symmetry of the setup when it's just the new buildings that are coming out, the town hall, and then the three starting buildings. So I just appreciate that symmetry, and I think that means I think it means it's just easy for me to forget, um, to get the game moving. So anyway, there are those three spots, uh, the three single worker spots plus the town hall. So one of the ideas that came out from yesterday was just to make the town hall 0 to 2 trophies, and you get 2 money. So at least that way you have one more way of gaining some resources, and also the first player token comes to you, and that opens up a one more single worker placement spot that is slightly rewarding, and it's not just about being first player. So I think that's probably better. Um, so and I tested with these two guys. One was a young guy, I think under 18, maybe 15, 16, super energetic and like really analytical, lots of just like tons of brainstorming ability, very little filter though. So he would like jump in and like cut off this other guy who was a little more reserved, kind of introverted, not necessarily timid, but more thoughtful, definitely more filtered. So that was a kind of weird feedback dynamic where I'm just trying to get a general sense of how everybody did, these two guys did. And then the other guy the young guy kept just like jumping in, interrupting, blurting out ideas. And the other guy, Colin, kind of had tough time getting going, like even finishing his sentences. So that was a little bit weird, but really great sensitivity, I think, to their experience. So appreciate that. The feeling was that there wasn't enough flexibility at the start, and the possibility that the grant office costing 3 workers feels too expensive. And fair enough. I don't know about that one. An idea that seemed really simple was to allow players to spend 4 cubes from the town hall to get a trophy rather than only use them for the grant office. I do think because this was such a late addition, the idea of adding cubes to the town hall itself rather than the grant office, this is something that I think is pretty much unmined, the design space of using cubes off the town hall. So I wouldn't want to add a lot. Maybe these are expansion buildings or something like that. Anyway, and then another really interesting set of comments from Colin came out about the mayor, and he says that the way the mayor works, he likes to think of it as this is like a sharp mechanic versus like a soft mechanic. So the mayor, in this sense, is really pushy. He's very on off. He either shuts down the building that he's on, or he doesn't. I mean, there's no he either comes in and shuts down a building, or he does nothing. Well, of course, I mean he's continually coming in, just shutting things down. So in that sense, there's no way to work around him. There's no it's not like go there and maybe there's an extra cost to that space, or go there and maybe you get a bonus for going there. It's literally like this guy just comes in and becomes an obstacle, a full on obstacle. And so I think softening him up is a kind of interesting idea. I think he works as he is the guy that just he just shows up, interrupts things. He's doing an event there. It kind of felt like maybe I didn't frame him correctly, thematically. It felt like maybe I should have said he's holding an event there, so you know the person running the business isn't like able to really focus on their business. They can't do what they normally do. Instead of like he's there disrupting everything and just kind of like shutting down the business for a day. I think shutting down is maybe the wrong way to describe what he's doing. So anyway, that was kind of interesting. Yeah. Yeah, the way he used to function is that he would get tucked. And so when you activated a location, you could either activate the building or activate the mayor card. So I did change that, and it is still awkward that it's still awkward that um that he sometimes will sit on a building that has cubes on it, and it just kind of visually it's weird because he's like sitting on the cubes themselves. So I think tucking is still the right move. Um, but anyway, I thought there's some really great feedback. The good news is from yesterday, I met a bunch of designers, play tested a few of their games, including there's what's crazy is like learning that there are these design groups all like that have like super consistent like meetup times. That is wild to me. There's a group in Austin that meets like 3 times a week. That just seems insane. I would love that. I mean, that's something I dream of pretty much. When it comes to our community on Oahu, I think that'd be amazing. Well, I'm excited about this. The stream health seems pretty good. Yeah. Anyway, it'd be great if we could do something on a weekly basis on Oahu. I think if we had the momentum and the energy and the interest, that'd be incredible. Okay, so yes, I did get to play test. I wonder why this is freezing. I mean, I'm sure my laptop is really struggling. It's heating up. I don't have my little fan this time. I don't know why it's not loading. So I went to a couple meet and greets, a, a couple of meet and greet events. This was one of them. This was the leader who was talking about the palettes. I think her name is Lainey. She's been doing it for I guess 20 years. And so this was like a first timers and orphans. I feel like that what did they call it? Orphans and first whatever. So it's just a little orientation for the con and a way to meet other people who are there by themselves or there for the first time. So that was a neat thing. And then right after, I think this is a great idea. Right after, we we sat down to something that basically operated like speed dating for gamers. So I think this is a great idea, and it's something I would try to introduce at the retreats. At least something that you could opt into. So at tables of 4, the guy Ricky, cool guy. I play tested an idea of his about Henry VIII, and it turns out that Ricky is the designer of Coup and a few other games that some of you might recognize. Really interesting guy from London, energetic, an older guy now that I guess he's been participating in these for a while too. But he let out in this speed gaming concept. So you're meant to bring a game that lasts less than like 30 minutes or less, something like that. And everybody has a game with them. You sit down in tables of 4. Everybody is given a letter, A through D. The A's never rotate, but then the B's, C's, and D's after after they first they that first pod that you're with. Like last night, we had the B's. The B's taught their game as the first teacher. So once that game was done, we played Courtesans. That's the next video.
At least one card is.
It was surprisingly nice. Courtesans, somebody brought courtesans up at the last retreat, and only one other guy jumped in. And anyway, I thought this was simple and clever. So we played courtesans. When that first, I think it's 45 minutes. When that 45 minutes is up, then everybody but the A's rotates. And what happens is the B's rotate one, C's rotate two tables, D's rotate three tables. And so that way, everybody just does this kind of jumping around thing. And so you actually do meet at least three different groups of people. I thought it's very clever, and it's a nice mixer, and everybody brings a game that they enjoy and that can work in 30 minutes or less. So I actually, maybe this was a little dirty, but I brought A Long Winter's Nap, which is my little bidding game that was rethemed from Oil in My Lamp, about the 10 virgins, 10 bridesmaids. So I brought that, taught that. We played twice. The group seemed happy with it. Like I said, we played twice. They didn't completely reject it. And what was cool is the first playthrough, one guy just like got absolutely smashed. He, I think, only earned 5 BP and still had a couple of cubes left over, but that was it. In the next game, I think he won with 19. So that was really cool to see that he made some adjustments and did better the next time. So that's great to see that there's like a reward of multiple plays. Obviously, once you understand the game, you're probably going to do a little better at any game, but that was neat. So that was pretty much the end of my night. I think we did this jumping around for like, well, it ended up being 3 hours because every session was 45 minutes, and just a nice way to meet people. This guy, where did he go? This guy right here. I play tested basically a gambling game that he and his friend made. It's interesting because he speaks a very little English, he's a Spanish speaker, and I speak no Spanish. And so it was interesting that a couple of us sat down at their table. The other guy knew a little Spanish, but not a lot. And those two guys had, one of them I think was their they had a boy with them, I think was one of their sons. And so the boy translated and translated pretty well, but they would still, it was interesting like going through the learning curve of trying to understand their game, but also the communication piece. It was really interesting. So that was pretty cool. Mm. Yeah, and he was very positive about Long Winter's Nap too, so that was kind of neat. Yeah, that was pretty much my evening. After that, I just kind of, oh, I played a few games yesterday that were not prototypes. One was Courtesans. Another was, let me see if I can find his face in the video here. It's this guy Dwight sitting right here. He owns, oh shoot, Chicken Challengers, I think is what he. Anyway, he's like a small publisher. He's on Amazon and some other things. So it was Chicken Challengers and Quackhead. Chicken Challengers was basically it was a set collection game, kind of like an Exploding Kittens feel. It's very different. I mean, you're not just like drawing and blowing up or whatever. Um, but it's just a quick take back game where you're collecting chickens or stealing chickens from other people or canceling the things they're doing to you, stuff like that. His next game was Quackhead was pretty much a version of BS. The version where you're like playing something and claiming what it is, and you go around, and then once if you think somebody's bluffing, you call them on it. In this case, it was just rock paper scissors, so there were just 3 things that the cards had to be, which I think was a nice simplification of that game, and it worked fine. It was neat as an idea. Anyway, great to see Yeah, great to see. Well, in this case, a pretty young guy who's self-published 3 games, and he's going to PAX Unplugged in Philadelphia. I think he has a booth. Not sure. At our final table, which is with this guy Dwight, and then another guy Dan. Um, it was cool. As we chatted afterward, I shared a little bit about how I'm working on games, and then Dan, or maybe it's Xenology. Dan Manfredini. He's part of this like Austin group, and this game was just released at Essen, so this is his game, Xenology, and it was cool to talk with him for a while. And he led out in a game that was, oh shoot, it had a German name, and I definitely will not think of it. But it was a fun, not quite dexterity game, but it was definitely a speed game. And it was a mind-bending little game. And I guess I have no idea. There's no way I'm going to be able to find this game. I wonder if Gemini can help. Well, anyway, so he's in this Austin group. They meet all the time. This guy's designed and published. This is 18. Looks like a bunch of expansions in that too, though. Anyway, see, this is what I'm talking. Like, this is great. Like, just meeting people who've been through the process a lot. Like 2014. That's very cool. So he and his friend, designer friend, and then anyway, I hung out, wandered around for a little bit, and then by then it was like 11:30. Then I came up and went to bed. So I think I'm not going to spend too much time here. It's about 30 minutes. Yeah, so I think I'm going to wrap up. But it's just been a really nice yeah, so um this issue is, I'm so sad. Didn't forget about the live chat, but because I only have one screen, I'm not flipping back and forth a whole lot. I'll follow this person. Yeah, that's too bad. Hmm. Anyway, that's cool. Thank you, cat. Meow. Yeah, so anyway, this is exactly the reason I came, is like to meet interesting people, try interesting games, have people play test my stuff, play test other people's stuff. And what I'm planning to do this morning is I'll get in line for the, what is it called? The vendor hall. And then I'm gonna meet up, or like try to meet some of these different publishing groups. CGE is here. Lucky Duck is here. Indie Borden something. I forget what their full name is, but they're here. So I'm gonna roll around. I brought some sell sheets for Sugar Shack, and I'll sit down with them. Hopefully I'll, well, chat with somebody who has a little influence over, whether or not I can pitch, and then set up a meeting for later on this week. That's what I'm hoping. I don't know, I've never done these things before, but my understanding is you're really meant to like have emailed or reached out earlier and gotten like an actual appointment, a pitch meeting scheduled. But since I didn't do that, I'm just going to do my best to meet some people here and then ask for a chance. Gemini 3 Pro is here. Okay, what I wanted to do was check. Can you help me identify a board game I played last night? I can't remember the name. It has a German name. Starts with G. I'm pretty sure it starts with G. In the game, there are 5 objects. A gray rat, red couch, blue book, and white ghost. Then you flip a card that either shows one of the 5 objects with the with the correct color, or it shows 2 objects and you grab that object quickly, or it shows 2 objects that are the wrong colors and you grab the excluded object. So there are 2 objects on both cards, so I wonder if it'll understand. What's the name? So this is what was this? This was 3 Pro. There it is. English is Ghost Blitz from 2010. Yeah, that's it. Speed games I'm not real quick with, but very easy to teach, very easy to learn, very fast to play. And it's like a cute, yeah, it's a cute little game that'd be really easy to pull out in a family setting. I mean, I don't know how replayable it is. It's really more of a novelty game. There might be somebody that loves it, but anyway, fun little experience. Yeah, so there's some other stuff today. Oh, well, this is fun, and then I'm gonna let y'all go. So I've been aware of the game The Sugar Shack since, I don't know, maybe the spring or something, when somebody went to a different convention and saw Sugar Shack and thought it was my game. The Sugar Shack thought it was my game. So I've actually signed up for a playtest of that person's game today. I think that's at 10. So that should be an interesting experience. Just see what they've come up with. Because I know it's a bigger Euro, it's a longer game. So anyway, I was a little bit cheeky when I reserved the name Sugar Shack on BGG. Of course, they could still claim the name The Sugar Shack, but I think it's just kind of funny. yeah, and then I'll just be down in the prototype room for most of the day again, I'm pretty sure. May catch up with Ryan a little bit. Food is an interesting challenge. Oh, this was a fun little moment, and I really will let you go. So last night, after our games, like the meet and greet thing, the speed gaming thing, I went over to they have like an open restaurant and bar thing, and I ordered a quesadilla. I think it was my only something more like a meal. I do have brought a bunch of snacks like trail mixes and mangoes and some other stuff. But this was my first meal. So anyway, I finished that, walked around for a while, and then came back up to my room, and there was room service. Somebody had delivered um, what turned out to be a quesadilla. The same thing. I asked my friend Ryan if he knew anything about it. He didn't. I called down to the front. They didn't know anything about it. Apparently, somebody maybe made a mistake, just had room service ordered and sent me a quesadilla. So that is going to be my breakfast, a cold quesadilla. So exciting for me. Anyway, thanks for joining, and I will check in tomorrow morning. Actually, I'm getting a roommate tonight, I believe. So I'm not sure where or how or when I'll be checking in tomorrow, but I do plan to. Um, Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you soon.